Hart made an appearance on The Breakfast Club in an attempt to address the wave of criticism that followed the Netflix roast. But what was meant to be a moment of clarification ended up doing something he probably didn't anticipate. The more he talked, the more the conversation shifted away from Tony Hinchcliffe and the joke itself and toward Kevin Hart's own responsibility in the situation. The explanation became the story.
It wasn't a tasteful joke to our culture, to our audience, but our audience that's watching the roast, if you're watching the roast, you get why they're doing it. You get why the racial humor is on the table. Like, it's not, I wasn't shocked. Like, that's what they do. Go look at the Tom Brady one. Like, that's what they do.
And if people are directing their anger at the joke, then on a purely literal level, Tony Hinchcliffe is the one who delivered it. That part of Kevin's argument isn't wrong. But Godfrey's issue operates on a completely different level, and that's what makes it harder to dismiss. On his podcast, In Godfrey We Trust, Godfrey laid out his position clearly. Kevin Hart wasn't some random comedian sitting in the audience with no stake in what happened on that stage. He was attached to the production in a meaningful way. His name was on it. He was instrumental in building the platform that made the roast possible in the first place. He had influence over the shape and direction of that entire event in ways that a regular attendee simply doesn't.
To answer the backlash that he was getting from, because this thing is lingering on.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it.
Umar broke it down.
What did Umar say?
Oh man, Umar went in, he took notes on it.
Oh, I didn't see what Umar said.
Oh, he took notes. I watched, he was on The Art of Dialogue. The Art of Dialogue's good.
It's pretty good.
The Art of Dialogue.
Podcast?
You guys should be subscribing to The Art of Dialogue.
Yeah.
Because it's a black dude. You should be supporting The Art of Dialogue. Everybody should be watching it. And the dude's hilarious because you don't see him. He goes, "Yeah, did you hear about that one thing he said? What do you think about that?" But Dr. Umar went in on like broke it down, said Cheryl Underwood, it should have been the roast of Cheryl Underwood because they went in on her so much. He was like, it was an embarrassment to him as a black woman. And he says, I love Regina Hall. Regina Hall did not laugh at half that shit. And he said, well, everybody should have gotten up and said, we're leaving. I said, you can't do that at a roast. Right. You're not forced.
That was his point too.
But you're not forced to do a roast.
No.
You're not forced. People want to get in. You know it's going to get a lot of attention. A lot of times.
Backlash.
Right. A lot of times you're trying to get, you want to get seen. And in a roast, that's a beating. You're going to get a fucking verbal lashing.
Yeah.
And, all the racial shit, it's white dudes at a roast. Black people are going to get the easy, low-hanging fruit shit.
And this is where Kevin Hart's personal history makes the situation significantly more complicated. Because Kevin hasn't been a bystander on these issues. He has publicly aligned himself with the weight of that moment before. He attended George Floyd's memorial. He spoke about police brutality with a kind of language that suggested he genuinely understood what was at stake, not just politically, but personally and culturally. He positioned himself as someone who felt it. So when a joke about George Floyd's death lands at a major roast connected to Kevin's name, and Kevin is visibly laughing in the moment, people aren't going to simply let that go. The contrast is too sharp. The gap between what he said at the memorial and what he did in that room is too wide to ignore quietly.
First, Kevin Hart appears on another show, still explaining what went on with the roast. And I guess at one point, he apparently says that some fans are blaming him for the Tony Hinchcliffe joke. I think it's ridiculous to blame a man for a joke he didn't tell. I also think that, and I've said before, I don't think that comedians should apologize for jokes. I think that that is a artistic expression, and I think, like I said before, that every single joke has a victim. Having said that, the question to me is not, and I've heard so often, why is it that we're still, after 2 weeks, we're talking about a George Floyd joke? My question is, why is it after 6 years you continue to tell them? And especially when being asked a question like that, why this joke has been such a lightning rod of controversy. being asked that by people who still talk about an election that they believe was stolen 6 years ago, or they still talk about things that they are angry about, and the timing of it and the length of time doesn't seem to matter then. I think again that a comedian should never answer or have to answer for a joke, and particularly a joke he didn't tell. But it's disingenuous to believe that joke wasn't designed to do exactly what it's doing now, and to have this level of controversy. I think that if you could ask the question, why after all this time we're still talking about that joke, about a joke about George Floyd, it is a fair question to ask, why after all this time are you still telling it? Because I think the reason it is told and the reason that people are continue to be angry about it are one and the same. So I think one man's joke is another man's trauma. I think all of us have the right to either be offended or laugh or whatever. Nobody's trying to intercede. Nobody's trying to make that an issue. What is an issue is there seems to be this idea that only jokes affect one side. And I was struck by when Kevin talked about how, he was talking and he said, what was I supposed to do in the middle of a live broadcast and basically stop somebody from telling a joke? No. But the fact remains that 18 jokes were removed after the live feed. 18 of them were removed, including one that was told about Melania Trump. So if it is that you removed 18, because you very much could have jumped up and stopped somebody from telling a joke, but you and that production were able to take 18 jokes away out of the program so that people not seeing the live feed wouldn't see it. So if you could do that for them, why didn't this happen? And I suspect it is the same reason. People wanted ratings. People wanted controversy. And now you have it. But if you're asking why we are talking about it after 2 weeks, we're talking about a George Floyd joke, I just don't understand after 6 years and many roasts why you're still telling them.
Hughley isn't making the argument that Kevin Hart is responsible for the words that came out of Tony Hinchcliffe's mouth. That's not the point he's driving at. What he is saying is that a production decision was made, and Kevin Hart is inextricably tied to that production. That's the uncomfortable position Kevin now finds himself in, and it's one largely of his own construction. Because here's how it works. When the roast is a massive success, when the numbers are strong, when the cultural conversation is positive, when it lands as a landmark comedy event, Kevin gets to stand fully in that result. He gets the producer credit. He gets the business win. He gets to attach his name to something that worked. That's the upside of being the architect.
You brought to me that I didn't even think about was if you did Holocaust jokes, you get the smoke.
Right.
Whether or not it's funny, whether it's another Jew saying Holocaust, you get the smoke. And so people are careful about the things that they say because there's a backlash. The difference is you could say anything to black people about black people on any level, George Floyd, lynching, this, that, and there's no backlash. And there should be a backlash, whether or not, I agree with him when he's saying he did a production, this is what, you had the white boy on it, you know he was gonna do some racist shit, but even though it was your production, if you think you could just say things about black people and not get a backlash from black people, then that's our problem. That's so long that we've let it slide.
And I'm glad black people are angry at it because it lets me know we're waking up. Because if it was Asian people, they got on Shane Gillis for what he said.
Yeah.
If it's Latino, we as black people who are the butt of everybody's fucking jokes, finally, who black people have every right to be, that all of this shit that black folks have contributed to this fucking planet and we let shit slide. No, there should also be outrage and we should be like, no, we don't like that. The fact that they always looked at us as not human beings, they go, oh, get over it.
Yeah.
But you say something about the Jewish community and they're fucking crying on your ass. They're mad at you. They're
good joke or not.
You can't have this. Now you can't have a sitcom. You can't do this. No, the same energy should be towards us. Unless not, everyone should get the fucking smoke.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, but with black people, and it's our faults. We let it happen. I would rather it be like, nah, we boycotting your ass. I like that. We should have that awareness. People should be cautious not to say shit about us.
And if they're gonna do it, it should be like, well, is this okay?
Is this okay?
Does this cross the
same
line?
Precaution that should be taken like we do with the Jewish community, the Asian community. It should be that, but the black community.
The looseness in which they don't have a problem saying nigga and fucking over black people. And the whole world economy is built on 3 things: cotton, sugar, and slaves. The entire world economy was that. And tobacco.
And here's my thing that I think people keep missing. And I don't like that I get people give this guy a pass because they want to be on the show and they want to be on Kill Tony. The nigga's racist. He voted for Trump. He spoke at the RNC. He's always been this type of person. Dude's racist, and he's not good at writing jokes. So we keep saying that he's like, oh, he was telling a joke. What's funny about alluding to somebody's death? That's not funny. That's not clever. That's not unique. He did the joke about Puerto Rico. Oh, to island for the trash. Also not funny, not clever, not unique. He's racist. Yeah. So for everyone to keep saying that he's telling a joke, no, he's being racist for 5 minutes, and you guys are giving him money. Yeah. He's not talented.
Nobody's doing what Godfrey was saying to me. Nobody's doing Holocaust jokes with that kind of reckless abandon. No, because there's a repercussion to it. And even though I agree, freedom of speech, this is what a roast is. But as people who are non-comics and all of that, give them the smoke, so this way, make motherfuckers write real jokes, make motherfuckers be worried about what the fuck you say, be afraid, be very afraid.
And Godfrey makes a point here that doesn't get enough attention. There's a pattern in comedy where weak writing gets disguised as courage. A comedian says something deliberately ugly, waits for the outrage to follow, and then frames the backlash itself as proof that they were being brave and boundary pushing. But bravery and shock value are not the same thing. Sometimes a joke isn't transgressive. Sometimes it's just easy. Targeting black pain, particularly something as raw and widely felt as George Floyd's death, isn't edgy writing. It's the path of least resistance dressed up as boldness. And what makes that point land even harder is what happened with Cheryl Underwood at that same roast. Godfrey and his circle were vocal about it. They said she murdered. Her set worked. She played the roast format exactly the way it's supposed to be played, and she did it without reaching for cheap material. That matters enormously in this conversation because it dismantles the idea that the criticism is coming from black comedians who are simply opposed to roast culture or uncomfortable with edgy comedy. Cheryl proved that's not the issue. The issue is specifically about what gets used as the material and who bears the cost of the laugh.